Hello everyone and welcome to the Project Help Desk. Today we are going to continue our fridge series and answer a subscriber question related to the temperature settings and how to stop it from causing freezing inside of the fridge area. But stay tuned to the end to find out why it may not be your fridge but actually your freezer that's causing this problem. Let's get to it. Okay, so back in the olden days and on some lower models still, to adjust the temperature inside and out, there's just a knob inside either your fridge or your freezer. Usually it's the fridge side, and you just turn the temperature up and down. On a lot of the more modern things, it's all digital touchpads, and while they're a little bit different, for the most part, it's all about the same. Pushing buttons, going through menus, and finding an up and down setting for both your fridge and your freezer. We're going to go ahead and show you exactly how to do it on this model here that we have, and just know that yours may be similar, but just a little bit different. Okay, now specifically to our model, there's actually a button that says temp, hold for 3 seconds. So you basically need to press this button and then hold it for 3 seconds to go into that menu system. You'll see a countdown timer, and now we're into the actual thing. Now over here, we see fridge. We are at the recommended temperature of 37 degrees Fahrenheit. If I want to change that temperature, I simply use the up and down buttons here to raise or lower this number. As you see, as soon as you do that, you lose your recommended because now it's at a higher temperature setting than it was before. When we go back down to the 37, we hit recommended, and I can even go lower than that if we so choose. When we're done, you press the confirm to make this your new setting. Using that, I just changed the temperature setting on ours from 37 to 33 degrees. Now I want to put it back, so I'm going to press and hold. Go back into that menu. I am going to raise this back up to the default of 37 where we keep it, and confirm. Now likewise, if you want to change your freezer setting, it's the exact same process. Hold your temp button for 3 seconds. Now here we have fridge and we have select zone. So we're going to hit the select zone button, and that carries us down to freezer. Our recommended temperature is set to 0, and likewise we can change that using these buttons and then confirm that setting. I'm not going to change it here. I'm going to go ahead and put it back to its default setting and exit out. So that is how you change the temperature to raise and lower on this model. In the beginning, I made the comment that it may not be your actual fridge that's causing this problem, but instead your freezer. So let's discuss exactly what I mean by that. Now, if you think about your house, when your house air conditioning comes on, you get a super cold air coming out of your vent. If you put your foot over that vent, you'll feel just that it's really a lot colder than what your temperature may be set to in your house. And that's the way all cooling systems work. They put in this super cold air, it mixes with the air that's already there, and brings it to a balanced state that your thermostat is set to. Fridges work in the exact same method. All of your cooling happens on the freezer side, all of your active cooling. So the condenser that's at the bottom of the fridge and the coils, all of that is completely dumping cold air only into the freezer half of most modern fridges. Basically, there's a damper and a fan that pulls cold air from your freezer and puts it into your fridge. So just like in your house, what you have is this super cold air coming out of your freezer, dumping into your fridge, mixing with the ambient air temperature of your fridge to the point that it reaches that set temperature. But if you think about it here, you've got air that is out of your freezer. In my case, 0 degrees Fahrenheit is coming out of that freezer into the fridge and mixing. Now, this is actually a known issue, and the manufacturer actually has labels on the unit to tell you about this and warn you that if you put things in the back of your fridge near where that exhaust air is coming out, it can freeze because that air is super cold and it's blowing directly on your items. And if there's a lot of stuff crammed in wherever your air is coming from your freezer side, and that air can't properly circulate, then it's going to build up in one area on those items nearby, and it's going to cause them to freeze. It's actually happened here in ours. Even on our default settings, I have put a lot of stuff on that top shelf and had the top items freeze. So how do you change that? And this is where we got to earlier. The temperature in my freezer is set to 0 degrees. So any air that the fridge is pulling in is going to be 0 degrees. Now, if I wanted that to not freeze things in my refrigerator, I would actually want to raise the temperature of the freezer side so that the air coming in wasn't quite as cold, and it would have more time to mix. It wouldn't actually freeze those items. Now, again, this is a trade-off. If you do that, then your freezer's not quite as cold. But, you know, depending on how hard you like your ice cream, you may not care. But power outages, you want it to be as cold as possible to keep the temperature in there if there's a power outage. So there's a lot of give and take in making that decision. But if you're experiencing problems with freezing on the top shelf around your unit, the temperature on the freezer side would be the one to adjust to help alleviate part of the problem. But at the end of the day, also, just don't pack anything around there. Make sure the air can flow in the fridge, and you're going to be good to go. And as always, the caveat is, this is the way the majority of the ones that I have interacted with over the years and that I've worked with have functioned. There's always a chance some high-end model or some other companies decided, oh look, we're going to have it so the cold air goes separately, and it may not work this way. But like I said, 99% of the time I think you're going to find this is exactly the way your model is going to function. For those of you who actually want to know more about this fridge, we've now had this unit for 18 months, and we are going to be putting together an 18-month survey, for lack of a better word, to tell you about all the experiences that we've had. 99% everything has been lovely and enjoyable. There have been one or two items that have bothered us a little bit, and we will show you those in that next video. Stay tuned for that. We hope to see you back on our next one. And as always, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments and we will be happy to attempt to answer anything that you have. We will see you in the next video.